Something that I have been exploring lately is taking creative control over my thought life. And I wonder if you can relate to this, where you catch yourself throughout the day and so much time has gone by of you offering thought about a subject that isn't pleasing to you and in a way that's not pleasing to you. And you can be thinking about this for like 20 minutes before you catch yourself and be like, why am I even thinking about this? It's not making me happy, it's making me frustrated. And not only that, but in this video, I want to bring to your attention what you're actually doing when your mind starts to focus on something in that way. When your mind starts to attract more and more thoughts about this subject, that's when momentum starts to kick in, and that's when it can be kind of hard to pull back on it when that momentum has already started. So in this video, I want to share with you techniques on how to stay in a conscious, creative state of your mind and of your thought life so that you can start to experience the manifestations that you have always wanted. It takes as little as 16 seconds for you to be thinking about a subject before the law of attraction brings more and more thoughts. So the best way to have creative control over your mind is to stay ahead of the game and to always check in and be like, all right, what am I feeling right now? And being really in tune with your emotions. We are all having emotional responses all day long, mostly to what we are observing or to what we are thinking about. And it takes true mastery to be able to observe something that would otherwise upset other people, to observe it and to stay in a place of true knowing and true neutrality. That takes true mastery. So I'm talking to the people that are still learning this process, which is most of us. We are still learning how to take control over our minds, and that takes practice, it takes discipline, but it also takes being kind to yourself when you have allowed your thought life to just veer off into the gutters. You have to be able to forgive yourself for allowing that to happen for you to be able to move on. So I want to share with you a concept that really helped me to sort of visualize what was happening with my creations. So I want you to imagine a house. And when somebody goes to build a house, they first start off with the blueprint, and then they lay a slab of concrete, the foundation, and then they build sort of like the skeleton of the house, and then they add a roof, and then they add walls, and then, there's a lot more to that, but they add the paint and furniture and all the bits and pieces, and it starts to fill in. So I want you to imagine that if you are offering thought about any particular subject, there are so many subjects that we have in our lives, and one of them can be, say, for example, relationships, finances, weight loss is a big one for a lot of people, your living situation. There are so many things that we are offering thoughts about. And so when you start to think about a subject, let's pick relationships. If you start to focus on relationships and your thoughts are giving you feedback, right? Your emotions are giving you feedback about the thoughts that you are offering. So when you think a thought, you feel a way about that thought. That thought will make you feel a certain way based on your belief system that you already have going on. So when I start to think about relationships, if I offer thought about relationships that isn't in alignment with what I truly want, then I will start to feel negative emotion. For example, I want a healthy relationship. So if I start thinking about relationships and I pull up all of my old experiences from my past and I think about how they didn't work out then and how it's never worked out before and how I still haven't, I'm not married. And if I started to grab all of those thoughts and focus on them, they will start to make me feel not good, because they're not in alignment with what I want. But if I start to think about thoughts that are life-giving to me. Like, there are so many people out there and I am constantly evolving, and I know so much about law of attraction now that I know how to create a future that I want. And I have come so far on my journey that I've changed so much in a way that I actually have been thriving without a relationship, so that when a relationship comes to me, it's actually going to feel really good and really satisfying, because I no longer need that person to be in my life. I want to be in their life and they will want to be in my life. And can you see how I just did that? How I changed from that negative cycle and I wasn't feeling so great about it to, oh yeah, no, this is hopeful. So just that little indication there shows you that I was starting to create a blueprint for a house that I didn't prefer. When I was thinking the negative way about pulling up my past and thinking about everything that's ever gone wrong, that is me creating a grid, a blueprint that will fill in with all the details. Like the walls will go up, the furniture, everything. And those details that fill in with that grid in relation to the negative version of the relationships comes in the forms of people coming into your life, ideas, thoughts, impulses. So an impulse to go somewhere, like sometimes all of a sudden you're just like, oh, I want to go over there. But it depends what kind of grid you are working from. If you are working from a negative grid and you are constantly thinking negative thoughts, your impulses will lead you to things that will help to construct this house that you don't prefer. On the flip side, if we put that house over there and we decided to adopt a thought pattern and a vibration, a mood, an attitude about a subject that is in a positive way, we start to create, keyword, create. We are creating a blueprint, and then we are starting to create this structure, and we are filling in the details of this positive house if we stay focused on that subject in a positive way. And so I wanted to create this video today to explain to you that we are all creating houses in relation to different subjects all day long. It doesn't stop. Construction never stops. Creation never stops. We are constantly creating, constantly evolving. And so whatever you are thinking about, pay attention, because it is important. Because if you give that enough attention in a certain mood, it will fill in that way. And that can work for you, or it could be a disadvantage to you, but it's all an advantage to you in the end, because you're always learning from your mistakes. But that's what this video is about. It's about teaching you. You have creative control. Take a hold of your mind, because your mind is where all of this is coming from. And that is why your emotions are so important, because your emotions are the clear indicator which house you're building. Does it feel good to you, or does it feel bad to you? Because if you're feeling negative, it's an indicator you're building the wrong kind of house for you that you want. You can build it if you like, see what happens, see if you like it, but your inner being, your higher mind, your source is guiding you constantly, consistently to what you want through your emotions. Your emotions are the breadcrumbs. If you find something that tastes good, like a jelly bean, awesome, going the right way. Keep following those jelly beans all the way to the candy house. If you find something that's not nice, like, I don't know, say if you hate licorice and you found licorice and you didn't like the taste of it and you kept following that trail of licorice, where do you think it's gonna lead to? Like a house full of licorice. Black licorice, that is. I don't like black licorice. Red licorice, on the other hand, is different. So it just depends. Like, you know what I'm saying, though? This is an analogy for which kind of house you are getting led to, and your emotions are your breadcrumbs. They're teaching you and they're showing you what track you're on, which way we're going. And they're so vitally important in helping us to know which way we are focused. So finding the consistency with your thought, that's a real sweet spot for manifesting something smoothly. Because sometimes what we do is we switch between houses, right? We'll start constructing this house. We're like, oh no, we don't want to do that. So we start constructing this house. So we can jump from house to house to house to house. But what you want to do is you just want to stay where it actually feels good. And the beauty of this is that it shouldn't be a challenging. Like it shouldn't, the work is to get control of your mind. It's not to suffer through negative emotion to get what you want. That is an old, outdated, misconceived idea from society that the harder you work and the more you suffer, the more you gain, because that's not true. It doesn't have to be that way. And in fact, it actually works much easier if you are following your emotions in a positive way, because you can go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then end up with what you want eventually. And all that time it took for you to get there, people think that that was noble or somehow made you more worthy of the outcome. But it doesn't have to be that way at all. You could just focus only on what you want and only what lights you up and only what makes you feel good inside. And perspective. You can be focused on one thing and choose two different perspectives of the same thing and have two completely different emotional responses. So perspective of every single situation is vitally important, but your emotions will tell you which way you're going. It's as simple as warmer and colder. Great tool and technique for helping you to focus in a way that's really beneficial and like potent for you, what you want, like in the right direction for where you're trying to go, is journaling. It's meditation, it's visualization, it's fantasy. These so many techniques, and it all comes down to what you're focused on and how you are focused on it and how intensely you are focused on it. If you are in a good mood, you are in the best place to grab out your journal and just start jotting down things that are making you happy. Just write down everything that makes you happy. And if you want to get specific, pick a subject. If you're feeling good about that subject, that is the time to like add more momentum to it. But if you wake up one day and you're in a really bad mood, try not to focus on anything that's important to you. Just try and stay as general as you can, because in that mood, you may accidentally start creating a grid or a house or a blueprint of a house that you don't prefer. And then you stopped working on the house that you do prefer. So what mood you are in when you add attention and focus onto each of your subjects is also vitally important. And the best way to do all of this is to get out ahead of it, is to stay ahead of the game and do things that light you up, do things that keep your nervous system calm, do things that make you feel whole and loved. Treat yourself well. Give yourself positive thoughts about you. And by doing this, by adopting this deliberate thought life, you will start to see that your creations can start to come to you quicker, because you are able to realize what you are creating in every single moment based on how your emotions are feeling to you at that time. Thank you so much for tuning in. I so appreciate you watching my video. If you would like to see some more, please like and subscribe to my channel. And I'm also offering one-on-one coaching. So if you would like some more information about that, my email is in my bio, and I will see you at the next video.